Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I'm talking about watches. Today I'm going to be talking about the black dialed BERNY watch that I bought from Aliexpress a few months ago. Now I bought my BERNY watch on sale at Aliexpress during one of the big sales for about 50 Australian dollars. The normal price for this watch is around about 70 Australian dollars, but having watched the prices of this watch go up and down since then, it really sort of varies in between those two prices. If you are really interested in one of these BERNYs, well then I think you should just keep an eye on it and wait for one of the sales that does come up quite regularly. This watch comes in the black, which is the one I'm going to show you today, but it also comes in a white variation, which I'm probably going to try and get in the near future so I can put these two watches side by side. I'm not sure if this BERNY watch is deliberately trying to homage the mundane railway style watches that look like this. But they certainly do have a lot of very similar styling characteristics. But when you do look at both the railway watch and the BERNY, you will see that they're fairly simple. They've got quite a simple dial, especially the BERNY. So it might just be that it's a simple watch that they've produced that just happens to look a fair bit like the mundane. From what I could find online, the BERNY company was established in 1995 in China. They speak a lot about being a very community-based company that has a lot of ecological ideals. They talk about producing watches and smart wearable devices, but they also seem to have a library, a cafe and a gym on site at their main building. They mention that they insist on doing green development, being ecologically friendly, being community aware, participating in charity, and helping to develop those around them and those people in their community. But we're here today to have a look at this watch. So let's flip the camera around and I'm going to give this a full review. Welcome to my full in-depth review of the BERNY AM7068M black dial. It comes in this nice little cardboard box with an outer sleeve. It says BERNY, followed by BERNY again, from my understanding, witness your legend, and also witness your legend in Chinese. It's a very golden box with golden shiny writing on it. Nothing too special, but does the job, doesn't it? And located within we have BERNY. Now I'm going to refer to this BERNY AM7068M as BERNY because that's what I've been saying to everybody. Look at my BERNY. So BERNY comes out of the box. Inside the box we've got a little user manual. Came with this rather simple hang tag. And a very nice brown coloured cushion. Quite big compared to the normal ones that you get with watches. So let's just run through the specifications of BERNY. We have a 40mm case diameter, 12mm thick, has a 47mm lug to lug, a 22mm lug width, and overall weighs 66 grams on the supplied leather strap. It is all solid stainless steel construction, and it's listed as a mineral glass with sapphire coating. Also on the back is a display case back. Now I'm not quite sure what sapphire coating is, but when we bring in the little diamond select machine, there's absolutely no reading on the crystal on the front, and absolutely no reading on the see-through case back. When looking through that see-through case back, you'll see a seagull automatic movement, which has hacking and hand winding, and what looks like a screw down case back. It listed as a 50 meters water resistance, and you'll see that there is some minor decoration, or at least the BERNY name put onto that rotor. It's listed as having a genuine leather strap, which is branded with the BERNY logo. It is black with white stitching. It is particularly nice. It is very soft. It is nice feeling. It's certainly nice to wear. And that white stitching with the black certainly matches in with the dial colours. BERNY comes with a 36-month warranty. Now I'm not going to bother showing you a lume shot of this watch because you'll see on that little second hand there's a little dot. That is the only lume that is on this dial. The face is simple but elegant with some strong similarities to the mundane railway watches. I'm not sure if they're deliberately trying to homage the mundane watch, but there's certainly some very strong similarities to it. You can see that they're not exactly the same, but there's definitely some strong similarities between the two. The indices at the hour and minute marks are painted on, but they're done very well. They're very clean and crisp, and they look slightly raised. That may be just due to the amount of paint that they're using, or there's a small possibility that it's pushed through the back slightly. The BERNY logo and the word automatic and the date frame are also painted on. It has the date at the 6 o'clock, and as you can see, it's not colour matched to the dial, but being white, it sort of fits in with the other white indices that are on the dial. The hands are rather simple and white, but they sort of mimic the indices, so it really ties the dial in together, and you get that splash of colour with that red second hand. The mineral glass is completely flat, with a very, very slight edge to it, if you can see there. The bezel-less case has a circular brushing pattern to it, and on the side there is vertical brushing all the way down and all the way around, even inside the lug area. The case back is polished, and you can see that it says 5 atmospheres, automatic, stainless steel case, AM7068M. The Chinese writing has been translated for me, and please excuse my pronunciation, but Shenzhen City BERNY Limited Co. The movement, as I said, has hacking and hand winding. The hand winding is quite easy and nice to use. It does have a little bit of sound to it, as you can hear. The unguarded crown is located at the 3 o'clock. I think it's well positioned. I think it looks good. I think it fits in with the overall design of the watch. It is unsigned, which I think also fits in with the rather simple aesthetics of this watch. The crown is very simple and easy to use and has hacking. Very simple and easy to move those hands around. When you do push it in, sometimes you'll see the second hand does flick forward a little bit. The hardware on the watch is rather simple, but it is signed by BERNY. It is stainless steel. It certainly works well. The keeper is well positioned and certainly feels like it's attached well, and the secondary keeper works really well as well. And here's BERNY on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. I think it looks really good and it fits my wrist. I think you could certainly get away with being a slightly smaller wrist, or definitely larger. It also conforms quite nicely to my arm and doesn't sit up too much on either end. Let's put this on the time grapher and see how well this seagull movement performs. As you can see, it vibrates at 21,600 per hour. It has minimal beat error, has a very nice healthy amplitude, and it runs really well. I've put it on the time grapher a few times, and it tends to be about +1 to +5 seconds a day, but quite often sits around that 0 or 1 as well. And for the price of this watch, I can't believe how well it actually performs on the grapher here. So what do I like and what do I dislike about this BERNY? I have to say there's actually not a lot to dislike. Even at such a low price, it's a really well made watch. It performs very well, it looks very good, and I'm very, very happy with it. There's no quality control issues that I could find either. It is just a very well made watch. All the materials feel solid and well produced. It feels like they've used good materials in the band. They've done very nice work on the case itself. The dial looks very neat and very, very tidy. It's nice to have that signed rotor. This movement inside here works very well, as you just saw on the time grapher. I really can't fault this watch. I'm rather amazed by it. I think it's better than a lot of watches that I've bought recently, and to be honest, it's probably one of the cheapest watches I've bought. However, if you did ask me how could you improve this watch, I do have a couple of things that I probably would tweak if I could. It doesn't take away from the watch as it is. I love it, but if I was to improve it slightly, this is probably what I would want to do to it. The hour and minute hands would look a little bit better if they were a tiny bit thicker, and only a little bit, maybe the same width as those hour indices. The second hand would definitely also look a lot better if it pushed all the way out to the edge. Imagine that little red hand pushed right up to those minute tracks. I think the date window does look okay in the white because it does fit in with those hour indices, but perhaps it would look better if it was colour matched to the black dial. I actually really like the BERNY logo. It's very simple, it's quite cute. As I said, I've now nicknamed this the BERNY, but I also understand that not everybody is going to like the name BERNY on a dial. Probably the only other thing I would change is probably the little tang here. It's just a little bit thin and a little bit cheap feeling. It has worked perfectly throughout the time that I've been wearing this watch, and I have been wearing this watch a lot, so I can't fault the functionality of it, but perhaps if it was just a little bit thicker, it might be a little bit better. The buckle part is actually quite nice, and I wouldn't bother changing that. Before I flip the camera around to give you my final thoughts, I want to show you one last thing. Up until now, I have been wearing my BERNY on the supplied leather strap, but yesterday I had something arrive in the mail. This is an aftermarket bracelet, which I have bought specifically for this watch, and I think it looks absolutely amazing. I only tried it first yesterday, and now I think this watch is even better than it was before. I do particularly like bracelets though, so that is something that I tend to go for, but I think it looks absolutely fantastic on this watch. It really suits it. So if you ask me the question, how do you make BERNY any better? Put it on one of these. Okay, let's flip the camera back around and I'll give you some of my final thoughts on little BERNY. So I'm sure it came across to you that I really like this watch and that I think it might actually be the best value, best priced automatic watch available on Aliexpress. Now I buy quite a few watches, but not too many of them end up in my permanent collection. My core collection is rather small and I deliberately keep it that way. I like that I can have other watches come in and out of my hands, but they're more just a temporary thing, or maybe have for 6 months, perhaps 12 months, but I sort of know when they come in that I'm going to sell them. And just to tell you how much I do actually like this watch, it has made its way into that core collection. I think that really says something for how much I think about this watch and for how good I think it is. And I still can't believe that it's only $50 Australian. I think that it could easily be charging $150 Australian and I'd still be giving it a really positive review. Well, I really appreciate you watching my full review of BERNY. If you haven't subscribed already, I'd really appreciate it if you click that button. I want to continue this channel for some time and having your support will really make that easier for me. I hope to see you in the next video. See you later.